Hello everyone, welcome to our Mandarin Fluency course. My name is Albee and I'll be your instructor for this course. Thank you so much for joining the pilot program and I'm so happy to have you join this Mandarin learning journey with me. A bit of intro about myself. I did my master's in TESOL, which stands for Teaching English to Speakers of Other Languages, and I have also been trained how to teach Mandarin. But I can't really say I'm super proud of my past teaching experience because for many years I was only following the, shall I say, conventional teaching practice. I would get my students to memorize lots of vocabulary words, study all the grammar rules, and then kind of regurgitate conversations from the textbook or from a written text. And that's just not how our brain acquires a language. And now I've learned that there are much better ways to teach students more effectively. And that's what we're going to do in this course. That's why I think it's important for me to make this video and explain some foundational concepts behind the course design, so you understand why the course operates the way it does and what you should do to achieve the biggest success in this course. So without further ado, let's get into it. So first, let's talk about the difference between acquisition and learning. Acquisition is when you have put the language into your unconscious mind and you are able to use it to express what's on your mind, the thoughts and ideas freely without having to consciously think about the rules. Learning, on the other hand, is relying on your conscious mind to study the structure of the language. You study vocabulary words, grammar rules, syntax, sentence structure, and do kind of worksheet exercise, and then try to use that knowledge to form sentences and paragraphs and to speak. When you try to learn a language that way, what happens when you try to speak is you have to always think about what you are going to say first, and then think about the words and the rules, and then try to translate that into the target language in your brain. And you can see that involves a lot of cognitive process and a lot of thinking. So it slows you down when you try to speak, and quite often results in unnatural sounding language, results in a lot of hesitation, and that's not what we want. So our goal in this course is to build acquired competence instead of learned competence. And the way to build acquired competence is through what we call comprehensible input. Comprehensible input means spoken or written messages that you can understand. According to Dr. Stephen Creation, a world-famous expert in the field of language acquisition, comprehensible input is the single most important factor in language acquisition. And the input does not only needs to be comprehensible, but it also needs to be compelling, so interesting that the learners will focus on the meaning of the language instead of the forms of the language. My favorite quote is, "A flood of input must precede a trickle of output." I think a lot of times teachers and students tend to jump into speaking practice too quickly, and according to the researchers, that could be counterproductive. Learners need tons and tons of comprehensible input before they are ready to produce spontaneous, unrehearsed output. Just like a baby heard his or her first language for thousands of hours before being able to produce meaningful language. So my job in this course is to provide you with language input that's rich, comprehensible, repetitive yet still engaging, and has novelty, to help you acquire Mandarin through context and meaning. And I will also design interactions that meet the purpose of truly using the language to communicate our thoughts and ideas, because that's how fluency is achieved, through comprehensible input and interaction. And that's what we mean by Mandarin fluency. Not so much that you'll be speaking at a native speaker level after the course, but more that you'll be able to speak confidently, spontaneously, and without much hesitation. So we've talked about the difference between acquisition and learning and the importance of comprehensible input. Now let's move on to how to succeed in this course. So how can you succeed in this course? 3 important factors. 1, just relax and participate in class activities and try to have fun, as simple as that. Number 2, motivation. You have to be motivated. You have to want to learn the language. Now I want you to take a moment to think, why do you want to learn Mandarin? To me personally, being bilingual, being able to speak and communicate in English has completely changed my life. It helps me access useful information and resources that has helped my personal and professional development. And it has also helped me become a more open-minded and empathetic person because I can understand those vastly different perspectives and cultures from my own. And it's really fun to be able to speak another language, to meet people from all over and talk to them in their own language. And I really want to help you to be able to do that in Mandarin as well. Also, I have so many great Chinese programs that I'm dying to recommend to you, and a lot of them don't have Chinese subtitles, so it would be really cool if you can understand them. And if that's not enough motivation, I encourage you to think about the rich culture China has to offer, how widely Chinese is spoken, and the potential career enhancement it could bring you. So hopefully I've convinced you to be motivated, to stay motivated if you are not already so. I know some of you might be thinking, I am really motivated, but Chinese is so difficult. And the good news is, Chinese is not as difficult as you think, and here's why. First, Chinese does not have tenses or conjugations. It does not have plural forms as well. Either it's 一张桌子, which means 1 desk, or 2张桌子, which means 2 desks. The word 桌子 do not change forms. And either it's 我住在伦敦, which means I live in London, or 我10年前住在伦敦, which means I lived in London 10 years ago. The verb phrase 住在 do not change forms. Do not or does not. See, conjugations are such a pain. And Chinese always follows a fixed sentence pattern. It always goes subject, time, how, place, verb, and object. Easy peasy. And also, in Chinese, I don't have to worry about whether a desk is feminine or masculine. Most important of all, you don't have to be super smart to be able to acquire Mandarin. Simply through hearing and understanding Mandarin, the language acquisition device will build the language inside of you. No matter who you are, we can all do it. The proof is that we all have already acquired our mother tongue, our first language, and the process of acquiring Mandarin is no different. So now let's go back to the third factor you need to pay attention to in order to succeed in this course. That's time. Language acquisition is a slow process. Although the CI-based methods in this course will help you get the biggest gain in the shortest amount of time, acquisition itself still takes time. So you need to invest time in getting enough comprehensible input so the language can sink into your unconscious mind, and so that you can speak naturally without much hesitation. We're going to use as much Mandarin as possible in this course, but we only have 1 hour of class time each week, so you will develop much faster the more you listen and read after class. You will find that our course will make a large amount of learning resources more accessible to you, because now you'll be able to recognize and understand a lot of the high frequency words. So some of you might wonder, does it mean that we have to find those extra learning resources ourselves? Because that could take a lot of time as well. And the answer is no. After each lesson, I'll provide you with listening and reading materials that will help you solidify and expand what we've worked on in class. And on top of that, if you want to find more things to watch, to listen to, or to read, I have included some links to additional resources which you can find on our syllabus. And you can always just listen to Chinese music, watch YouTube videos in Chinese, with the subtitles on. And there are just so many ways to get more exposure to Mandarin. Okay, so I hope this video has been helpful to you. In this class, we're going to focus on high-frequency words and structures that will help you build up communicative skills in Mandarin very quickly through movements, songs, pictures, movie clips. And I'm so excited to offer you this modern 21st century Mandarin class that will help you achieve true success. I am confident that you're going to learn some Chinese, and I really hope that you're going to have a lot of fun as well. See you in class.